Donald Trump's lawyer, Alina Habba, the worst lawyer in America, is at it again. She just sent a letter to federal Judge Lewis Kaplan, who presided over the E. Jean Carroll defamation trial against Donald Trump, where Trump was hit with an $83.3 million verdict. And in this letter from Habba to Judge Lewis Kaplan, Alina Habba attacks Judge Kaplan, claims that he had an undisclosed conflict of interest with Roberta Kaplan, the lead lawyer for the plaintiff, E. Jean Carroll. And Alina Habba says that it was inappropriate that Judge Kaplan did not disclose this relationship, and it's threatening. The letter looks extortive in nature. I'll go read it to you. And Alina Habba says, surely you will provide some additional information to us as we start preparing our appeal. And now the evidence of this so-called conflict of interest is a New York Post article. And the New York Post article, which is a Murdoch property, says Trump lawyers to use conflict of interest between Judge Carroll's attorney in appeal of $83.3 million jury verdict. Insane. So it is basically like a corrupt loop, a feedback loop, if you will, here of a Murdoch property going to Alina Habba. Do you believe that there's a conflict? Alina Habba saying, oh, well, that's insane, and then claiming that that is evidence. Folks, I hope Judge Lewis Kaplan just sanctions Alina Habba at this point. This is such a frivolous filing. Roberta Kaplan, through a spokesperson, told the New York Post there is no conflict of interest. Roberta Kaplan was a young associate at the time working for a law firm called Paul Weiss, which has over 1,000 lawyers, and Judge Lewis Kaplan was a senior partner, that she never worked for Judge Lewis Kaplan while she was at the firm, and that this is all entirely without merit. This is simply more of the kind of fodder for Donald Trump and MAGA to go and attack the judiciary, attack the judicial system, claim there's some conspiracy because they are completely and entirely in the wrong. Alina Habba is a horrific lawyer, and the evidence showed that Donald Trump, back in the May trial, sexually assaulted E. Jean Carroll, and a jury ruled that Donald Trump's responsible for $83.3 million in damages for defaming his rape victim. Here, just take a look right here at the letter that Alina Habba sent. This is pathetic, folks. Dear Judge Kaplan, this letter is submitted on behalf of, and she refers to Donald Trump as president, even though he's not, because that's the weird MAGA cosplay that Donald Trump's the president. As a result of a story published in New York Post, defense counsel learned for the first time of allegations that Your Honor, while a partner at the Paul Weiss firm, had a, quote, mentor-type relationship with plaintiff's lead counsel, Roberta Kaplan. And they go and they cite a New York Post article attached as Exhibit A. And that article is this article, that Trump's lawyer to use conflict of interest between Judge and Carroll's attorney in appeal. It's not exactly an investigative piece. It's a corrupt feedback loop. It goes on to say in this letter, most concerning is that the article was brought to the New York Post's attention by an unnamed partner at Paul Weiss, who was aware of the close relationship between you and Ms. Kaplan and stated that, quote, Lou was like her mentor. The underlying defamation case tried last year and the damages trial completed last week were both litigations in which there were many clashes between Your Honor and defense counsel. We believe and will argue on appeal that the court, referring to Judge Kaplan, was overtly hostile towards defense counsel and Donald Trump and displayed preferential treatment towards plaintiff's counsel. Indeed, the ruling's tone and demeanor of the bench raised significant concerns even before the New York Post's investigative journalism unearthed new facts. Not exactly investigative journalism, where the article talks about a motion that you intend to file and says an unnamed source said Lou was like her mentor, which is not even true and accurate. And it just goes on to show you the whiny victimhood of Trump and MAGA. We're going to argue to the Court of Appeals that you treated us unfairly and that the tone that you had and the way you spoke to us was mean. I don't know, Alina Habba, maybe it's the fact that you missed all of the relevant deadlines, failed to assert affirmative defenses, that you told the jury in your opening statement and closing argument, that Donald Trump gave his rape victim what she always wanted. He gave her the fame that she wanted. She should be grateful for him. Maybe it was your horrific lawyering. Maybe it was that. And the horrific underlying conduct that was at issue. Not that the judge was just randomly mean to me. I mean, again, the victimhood and the whiny nature as a lawyer is one of the things that I'm just like, if I had a law student in my class or an undergrad student in one of my classes whine like this, I'd be like F. But I guess Alina Habba got the equivalent of an F at trial. If Your Honor truly worked with Ms. Kaplan in any capacity, especially if there was a mentor-mentee relationship, that fact should have been disclosed before any case involving these parties was permitted to proceed forward. This issue is particularly concerning since plaintiff's other lead counsel, Sean Crowley, served as Your Honor's law clerk, and we were previously advised that Your Honor co-officiated her wedding. 28 U.S.C. 455A states that any judge of the United States shall disqualify himself in any proceeding in which his impartiality might be reasonably questioned. While not every mere friendship between a judge and a lawyer warrants disclosure and possible recusal by a judge, as the Fifth Circuit recently explained, recusal and disqualification issues based on possible bias or prejudice require a, quote, highly fact-intensive inquiry. Well, first off, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals does not supervise New York federal courts. That would be the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. And then you hadn't filed a motion for a recusal. If you believed that the Sean Crowley serving as a law clerk for the judge, which is a public record, you could have filed a motion to disqualify. If you believe that there was some issue between Roberta Kaplan and Judge Kaplan, which is non-existent, that's why it was never disclosed in the first place, because it is not a true and accurate thing. Well, if you would have said, oh, I'm suspicious, you could have filed a motion to disqualify, which you did not. Here, this is what Alina Habba, here's how she closes the letter. Here, without knowing more information or having specific factual denial by Your Honor that you had a mentor-mentee relationship with Ms. Kaplan, we are unable to flesh out our position concerning what specific relief should be requested, including but not limited to moving for new trials on the issue of liability and damages. Surely, however, this court should provide defense counsel with all of the relevant facts. At minimum, this information could certainly prove relevant to Donald Trump's forthcoming Rule 59 motion. We thank you for its prompt attention. We thank the court for its prompt attention to this troubling matter. I hope that Judge Lewis Kaplan just drops the hammer on Alina Habba. Her language, her demeanor, by the way, Rule 59 is a motion for a new trial or to alter or amend the judgment. But the level of disrespect from such an incompetent stooge, drop the hammer on her, Judge Lewis Kaplan. Refer her to the state bar. She's been pathetic and she's been a disgrace to the legal profession. What a horrific and horrible disgrace of a lawyer Alina Habba is. A real stain on the legal profession. Pathetic, pathetic. Let me show you this. Alina Habba said this at an interview. She'd rather be pretty than smart, because she thinks that she can fake being smart. Play this clip.
I'll tell you something. Somebody said to me, Alina, would you rather be smart or pretty? And I said, oh, easy, pretty. I can fake being smart.
Yeah, I don't think that worked out that well, Alina Habba. Oh, and by the way, here's the clip of Alina Habba from a month or so ago where she spoke at the right-wing Turning Points event where she bragged how in the Southern District of Florida, she was sanctioned by that federal judge about $1 million. And she goes, it was fake news why this wasn't reported. Newsflash, it was reported, and you got sanctioned because you filed a patently frivolous lawsuit, and she goes and brags about it to MAGA.
That got assigned to a Clinton-appointed judge. And what do you think happened? Nobody's heard of the case, right? It's because it's gone. I never met the judge. I never walked into the courtroom. There were probably 50 lawyers representing all of the radical left. Clinton's lawyers, Mook's lawyers, and the list goes on and on and on. 1 month. It got dismissed, and me and President Trump got sanctioned $1 million for going against crooked Hillary. You didn't know that, did you? Fake news, folks. Fake news. They won't report it. But guess what? We paid that $1 million, and we're going to keep on fighting.
The biggest bunch of grifter losers, and just the whininess of them. Whining. We're so much better than this, America. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 3 million subscribers thanks to your support. Have a good one.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.